Hey guys, this is Issues with Toddy One Skip. I am Toddy One Skip. Welcome back to my channel, and thank you a lot for allowing me to be part of your day. I really appreciate it. Guys, I was online watching a bunch of stuff, and I caught up with the GoodWives Network and hearing about how they were saying that perhaps Gypsy Rose might have taken the idea of what happened with her mom, the unalivement of her mom, by perhaps the movie Gone Girl, which was in the theaters in 2014. It was filmed in Missouri, where Gypsy Rose had lived at the time. So a lot of people knew about the movie. In 2014, a year before the unaliving of DeeDee Blanchard, Gypsy's mom, this movie was shown. Now, we do know that Gypsy spent a lot of time watching television and reading books and spending a lot of time online. I did hear the beginning of the GoodWives Network talking about the similarities between Gone Girl and Gypsy Rose's behavior and the unaliving of DeeDee Blanchard, because there were things that were seen at the scene of the crime which didn't make sense at the time. So, I had spoken about how easy it is for the cops to try to make their job easier by seeing something they believe to be true and then grabbing everything they can and hooking it on that hook. So right away, it was deemed that Gypsy was suffering from the Munchausen by proxy from her mom, and that she was unable to make decisions on her own and really unable to walk by what everybody thought at the time, only to find out, of course, that wasn't true, and perhaps Gypsy was not being told what to do at home as much as people believed. Like, now again, we can see that some of this manipulation, if not all of the manipulation after a certain point, came from Gypsy, not from DeeDee. And perhaps the last few years of DeeDee's life, DeeDee was the one that was being abused, and Gypsy was the one that was the abuser in that situation. And Gypsy and perhaps her stepmom, Christy, were spinning a narrative so that it would appear that Gypsy's unaliving of her mom was for Gypsy's own sanity, and the only way that she was going to walk out of that situation as a victim. How else was she going to be a victim? What I keep saying over and over again is that there was never anything that was found at the scene of the crime over there that made us believe Gypsy was actually being held beyond her consent. We knew, and we know, because we've seen proof, that she could talk to anybody she wanted to online, that she's run away a few times. There's nothing in that house that shows that she was at all being taken advantage of, doing anything she didn't want to do. All of that came out by one person, and one person alone. And that was after the unaliving of DeeDee Blanchard. And we are meant to believe, and we still seem to only know one side of the story and take that side of the story as gospel. Look at who's telling us that side of the story. Somebody who we know is a pathological liar, who very well could have gotten the idea to unalive their mom by this movie Gone Girl, that was filmed in the same state and takes place in the same state that Gypsy Rose was in, with a lot of the similarities. There was supposedly at the scene of the real crime in Gypsy's house, there was supposedly some very weird blood splatters that made no sense. There was also supposedly vials of somebody's blood in the refrigerator of the house. Also, very specific things that Gypsy did in fact tell Nick, and we know that because not because Gypsy admitted to anything, Not because Nick, who's only told the truth, has told the truth about this. Also because of text messages that couldn't be erased. Gypsy runs away with Nick, sends the weapon that was used to unalive DeeDee to Nick's house. Instead of just dropping it down a drain, you know, one of those street drains, or throwing it in a river, or burying it in a backyard. Nope, 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 nope. With the dried BLOOD on it, it gets sent to Nick's house. She masterminded the whole thing. She had gloves. She told Nick what to wear. She did everything. Stole the weapon and everything. Sent it back to Nick's house. So it's believed now by Fancy that she was setting up Nick so that she can get back with Dan. I don't know what happened with Dan, except that that didn't work, right? And Dan wasn't going to wait all those years. Is she going to end up finally back with Dan? Or has she really fallen in love with Ken? Will Ken be the next person that she gets spousal support from? Will Ken be the next in line that she marries? All of this talk about somebody that unalived somebody, and we can't wait to see what happens in the summer. Why the divorce? Why has Ryan had enough? Could she have really legitimately done that to Ryan on television? Nothing surprises me with her. I think she can unalive somebody on TV and have everybody convinced that she didn't do it. Or believe in her mind that she could have everybody convinced that she didn't do it. Because that's the world she lives in, and that's what we've allowed her to do. Commit a crime, do 8 years, come out, we'll give you television shows, we want to know all about it. Here's the thing, what we think we wanted to know was the Munchausen by proxy and how she survived. But if there was never a Munchausen by proxy, all we know is that everybody's celebrating a woman that has set her mom up so that she could do away with her mom so that we can now view her as the victim. That was friggin' genius. Because I don't believe that that happened at all. I don't believe there was Munchausen by proxy. And I'm waiting for the narrative of the major newspapers to change that. And say, wait a minute, we need to step back with this behavior and everything that we're finding out. Maybe we were wrong in our reporting. It looked like Munchausen by proxy. Of course, the only person that could tell us about this was Gypsy. And unfortunately, DeeDee's not here to hear her side. So let's just listen to Gypsy's side, Gypsy who lies about everything. We can't take anything Gypsy Rose said and say that it's truthful. Gypsy Rose wants us to believe right now that she's just best friends holding hands, getting love tattoos with her best friend Ken, but there's nothing going on there. This is the person that we're supposed to believe. I don't believe anything that comes out of her mouth. Again, I don't. But here's what I want to know. The Gone Girl theory, that's a pretty good theory. And I could believe that she got inspiration from that movie to make things happen. And I could believe that perhaps Christy helped with that as well. The idea, not the unaliving, but the idea of it. What do you think, guys? Let me know what you think in the comments. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you a lot this weekend. I plan on putting a lot of videos up. Hopefully we'll all have a great weekend together. I also do need to check my email. It's been a minute since I checked it. So I asked you guys to send for Everybody Has a Story to Tell. So I'm hoping there's a few of those in there. And I'm hoping I can get in touch with some people starting this week coming up. All right, guys. This is Issues with Toddy One Skip. I am Toddy One Skip. Thanks again. Please like, subscribe, and share. I appreciate you, and I'll see you real soon. Be anybody in the world. Be happy with who you are, most important. Don't be anybody but yourself. And especially, don't be Gypsy Rose Blanchard. We haven't even seen her new nose yet. All right, guys.